Well, Coach, how hard is it to downplay what are inevitable emotions of, for the first time in your career, coaching against one of your former teams?
It really is amazing how everything goes full circle in life. And who knew I'd be here at Buffalo in 2024 and back in this wonderful league. And now, an opportunity to play against a school that I have such strong feelings about and was such a wonderful 5 years in our family's life, our kids, growing up and going to school there and all the wonderful relationships. And I've got such great respect for their program. And they're a very good team this year. They continue to get better week in and week out, and they're playing very well in our conference.
They come in at 3-6 to the Cardinals, 2-3 in the MAC, but every one of their games, in MAC games, they've led in the fourth quarter and then lost by one score. What does that tell you about how they're playing?
Yeah, and I hope when people look back at some of our teams at Ball State 10 to 15 years ago, they think about the culture and how hard the guys played and how close-knit the teams were. And all you got to do is turn on the film and you see those same characteristics from this Ball State team. They play 60 minutes, they play cohesive football, and they just play with a lot of pride and find ways to make plays in all three phases. So this is going to be a very challenging opponent for us.
They have an excellent offense. Their quarterback, Caden Samanza, first or second in the MAC in passing, touchdowns, all the important stats. What I wanted to ask you about is they bring in Tanner Koziel as their leading receiver at tight end, not something you see very often. Has that kept Joe Bowen up a little later this week?
No question. Joe's going to age exponentially, I think, with this game, and that's only part of the reason. Their quarterback is a very accurate thrower. He can spread the ball around, does a great job with the short to intermediate throws. They run the ball just enough, and it's a diverse run game. And they've got a lot of talented athletes in addition to just the tight end on offense, and a really good offensive line. So this offense presents a lot of challenges. And for those of us that were doing a Fred Sanford in the Akron game,
There's a few of us.
Yeah, we might have to get ready for another one.
Speaking of the Akron game, my colleague Brad Ryder said something very interesting. He said he felt like for long stretches your offense looked like you wanted to look, your defense looked like it wanted to look. Was that one of the takeaways that you had as you look back on that?
Absolutely. There were so many good things that happened in that game, really in all three phases. And again, it's a good testament that what we are trying to do is working, and we are making progress. We just have to do it from start to finish and keep our focus through 60 minutes. You look at certain quarters of games where any phase of our team has been almost dominant, and then you could look at another quarter and say, what the heck just happened? And that's frustrating as a coach.
Action as
it
well.
is. It's frustrating as a coach, but the good news is our guys understand. They have a perspective on this. They're not living in some dream world where they don't see what's happening. We have really good guys, and they are working at it.
Talking with Bulls head coach Pete Lembo as we get you ready for Tuesday night action as the Bulls take on the Ball State Cardinals. Based on the way the game ended at Akron with the big special teams play, thought it was a good opportunity for you to give us a sense of where your special teams have come so far this season.
Yeah, there's been a lot of highs and lows. Obviously, the season didn't start off the way we wanted it to. We had some struggles in the Lafayette game, but we have made some progress in some areas. There's some other areas, particularly our kickoff and kickoff return units, that I want to see continue to make progress here as we hit the home stretch. Upton Bellenfant is having a fabulous season. I'd be shocked if people don't look at him and consider him to be on track to be an all-conference type of kicker. His job's going to get a lot more challenging as the weather deteriorates here in November, and he's got to deal with more wind and so forth. But very proud of him coming in as a first-year guy, getting an opportunity and taking advantage of it. And Ethan Dwayne is going to have a very big job in this Ball State game and in our last two games, again, handling different weather conditions and making sure that he can put the ball where it needs to be.
All right, we wrap it up. Learning with Lembo. This is the easiest learning with Lembo we've had all season long. I assume you have some interesting tidbits about Ball State that you might be able to pass along.
Oh, goodness. Well, the first thing that everybody thinks about, of course, is David Letterman. But what I will say about him is he has been a very involved and generous benefactor to the university. And they've got an excellent school of communications there, wonderful facilities for that program, and a really good sports media program. And those kids used to be around our football program quite a bit, which was really cool because you're trying to mentor your 110 players, but we also would have all of these students around our program all the time that wanted to do exactly what you're doing right now. And we had a chance to mentor them as well and give them some real world experience. And it's cool not only to see all of my former players having success and families, and I just got a text from a former offensive lineman today asking if he could continue to use me as a reference for a job, which obviously I'm honored to do, but also some of those kids that went through that Letterman school, that media program, that have gone on to some really cool things in sports media.
Right. All right, here's my quick tidbit for you. Ball State, they're named after the Ball brothers of the Ball Jar fame, originally from Buffalo, then moved the company to Indiana. So again, maybe another good sign. Learning with Lembo always educates, and maybe a good omen as well too, Pete.
Good stuff. Thank you.
All right, that's Pete Lembo. We get you ready for the Bulls and the Cardinals.